Okay, so this is, well, what I'm doing here is I'm just showing you a build of basically Glibc, and this is a 32-bit build, and so you might wonder, why am I showing you a load of text scrolling up the screen? And the reason simply is because when I've built it before, what I didn't understand was the fact that they were actually building it with a GCC command flag called Werror, so that's W error. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to freeze the build so that you can see what it looks like. So as you can see, the highlighted part with the arrow, you see it has that W error, capital W then error, and with a dash before it. What that command does, when you add that to the command line of GCC, basically if any warning comes up, then it actually becomes an error. And the thing that the reason why I'm impressed with that is because usually when you build an application which has been built by some sort of half-baked programmers, they won't actually care about warnings, and some programs you can end up with a whole load of warnings scrolling up the screen. But the reason why I'm impressed with this is that you can see the build is like proceeding there, and as it's building all of the files for the C library, the thing that impressed me when I realized that they were using the Werror, W-error or Werror sort of command line option is the fact that as the build proceeds, there's not one single error in it. And the thing about it, to do that, you literally would have to comb through the code. Well, you don't really have to comb through it. What you do is you try and do the build and turn on the Werror flag, and then basically it would be compiling for quite a time while while it's compiling, I should say, then the errors will come up whenever there's a warning. And if you ever try to build any programs, one thing you'll notice is that most groups of programmers really can't be bothered with the warnings. The only other group I know of that even bothers are the kernel developers. And as you can see, the actual build of the library has actually finished. So what's happened there? It's actually managed to successfully build Glibc, and now it's actually going through the tests. And of course, with the tests, it's the same thing. You have the same Werror you can see if you can catch it when you look carefully. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stop it here, because now the tests take a little bit of time. But if you've got a machine which is fast, the time's not normally so bad. But I could imagine, one thing I'd be interested to know is if Microsoft would ever do something like this, because you imagine all the programmers they have and the amount of turnover they have, can they really be bothered to go through the build, and every time a warning comes up, they try to fix it? But like I say, I'm impressed with the fact that Glibc actually cares so much about their code that they're willing to build the whole thing with Werror. And is obviously the other reason why people don't like doing that is because the errors, the warnings, I should say, change depending on which compiler you're using. But of course, the Glibc, the GNU, I think they're called, I can't remember what their proper name is. They actually look after GCC as well. So obviously they'll know why the compiler will produce certain warnings at certain points. And so they actually know how to make the code clean so the warnings don't happen. So yeah, so all this basically is just a video just to show that how impressed I am with the sort of GNU. I can't remember what their proper name is, if it's Software Foundation. Oh, Free Software Foundation, that's it. Yeah, I couldn't get the name right. And the fact that they actually care so much about their code that they're willing to build it with Werror. And then, of course, that means that their developers have to sit down, and every time error comes up, they've got to fix it. And obviously, when you do that, that can actually lead to code which is quite stable as well. And of course, one thing about the C library is that you definitely want that to be stable, or your whole system will die. Alright, so that's it for this recording, and I'll see you in any next videos that I get a chance to do. Okay, bye.